If you're a mom, you're a superhero. That's right. Own it. We possess a unique superpower of intuition, a sixth sense for what our kids are up to, how they feel, what they want, and when they want it. Yep, it's amazing. I call this mom sense. Oftentimes, we are Googling for answers, joining Facebook groups, or relegating to taking unsolicited advice from our friends when all we have to do is listen to that voice inside us. No, not the one that's telling you you're fat. The other voice, the one that seems to know everything when it comes to your kids and leaves you feeling confident, empowered, purposeful, and all things #mom goals. Hi, I'm Kanika Chadda Gupta, and I'm a mother of twin toddlers and a baby, double the fun plus one. And I can honestly say that now that I'm a mom, I feel like my life is just getting started. On my podcast, I interview industry experts and real-life mamas on their mom sense experiences, tackling topics like how to teach kids to meditate, what it takes to have the marriage you've always dreamed of, and how to master your car makeup routine. Grab your latte, that's probably ice cold by now, and take a listen to That's Total Mom Sense. Hello, listeners. Welcome to That's Total Mom Sense. Today's episode is kids and screen time. How much is too much? One thing that I noticed with my 3 young kids, I have 2-year-old twins and an 8-month-old baby. And last month when it was snowing, we figured, let's go outside. The kids had never played in the snow. And, I just thought that this was the perfect opportunity. So we went to a park near our house, and there's like a jungle gym and slide, and then, of course, rolling hills. And it was so beautiful to see a white blanket of snow. So, the kids, my husband and I, we all engaged in a snowball fight. We built this like lopsided snowman. It was such a fun time. And then my husband turns to me and he's like, "Where are all the other kids?" And, I just, intuitively said, on their screens. They're probably just on their screens at home. And that was just really eye-opening because it was, a really nice Saturday afternoon. And growing up in, the 90s, that's what we used to do. We'd play outside till dark, and then, our mom would make us come home. But on the weekends now, there's no kids to be found outside. And it's really sad. So today, I'm so grateful to have Holland Haiis with me. Holland is a leading expert on digital detox and connection. She has made global headlines with her book, Consciously Connecting, a simple process to reconnect in a disconnected world, and was recognized as one of 100 global thought leaders along with Deepak Chopra and Susie Orman by Hay House. She has a background in behavioral psychology, theater, and business, and has been interviewed by Randy Zuckerberg, CNN, NBC, ABC, and Fox News, to name a few. Holland works with families who have difficulty with technological balance and has created a program for families and corporations who struggle with technology issues. And Holland, thank you so much for joining us.
Hi, thanks for having me, Kanika. Hello to your listeners. I really work on human relationship solutions, and I am focused and passionate to really help moms navigate the digital world in a very different way, because this is a new time and it is something that is highly addictive, and we know how much kids' brains crave it because we know as adults how much our brains crave staying connected to our devices. So I'm really excited that you are tackling this today, and I'm looking forward to rolling up our sleeves and diving in.
Yes, let's do it. Okay, so can you share some stats with us? How much time on average are kids in front of screens?
Well, that varies by age. We're finding right now, Psychology Today and some other organizations have done some research, and kids that are 2 to 5 are spending about 4.5, 5 hours a day on screen.
Oh my goodness.
Yes. And then it increases. So by the time, it's going up by age group, 8 to 10 years of age is 5 to 8 hours, and 5 is a really light number. Adolescents are at 9 to 11 hours per day. And when you think of how many hours a day an adolescent is up, that means they're spending more than 50% of their day attached to some sort of technological screen.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's awful. What about adults in comparison? How much time are we often spending on our screens?
Anywhere from 11 to 16 hours a day.
Oh, wow. So much more than we sleep, which is, it just doesn't make sense to be kind of like hooked onto our phones and laptops and desktop for that long.
Well, if you break that down, and that's a really good point that you made, more time than we sleep. We're finding that the average person is sleeping 6 to 7 hours. And when you consider that most of us in this country, both children and those who are adolescents going to school as well as adults, one of the first things we do in the morning is we forget about human relationships and we say good morning to our screens before we say good morning to each other, and we take them into the bathroom and right? I mean, you're giggling, and yes, we know it's true. Cause, listen, I've done it as well. We've all fallen down the rabbit hole, and it really is contingent. When you're aware of some of these behaviors, you can make better choices, and then the question is, will you make the better choice?
Yes, absolutely. Well, I wanted to just dig a little deeper into kids and their screen time. Do you have a recommended number of hours per age group, just so we know what what the goal is here?
So, any of the children, mom, if you've got a little one under 3, they really shouldn't be on devices. Now, I know that's going to be so hard for so many of you to hear because it helps you, right? When you're out having coffee with a friend, or maybe it's a family dinner, you give them that screen and it really quiets them down. What we're doing, unfortunately, is we're training their brains. And we're training their brains, as you see, it really is like candy, or they didn't call it the crackberry. Back for nothing. It really does give us dopamine hits. So let's talk a little bit about that and why it's so addictive for children.
Yes,
so
let's do it.
Our children start getting these dopamine hits, and basically we get dopamine hits. Think about it as an adult. We get it from smoking, we get it from caffeine, we get it from alcohol. Now, obviously, we're not giving that to our children and babies, yet the exact same triggers that those substances trigger in an adult brain to want more, those clinical and behavioral psychologists have worked with the tech companies. They've been hired to really teach them and share human behavior and brain science.
Oh, yeah.
And so they understand you and your children perfectly, down to the science of color and how much movement a character needs, and all of these wonderful things that we once kind of took for granted when we thought they were harmless cartoons in the 70s and 80s. It's gone hyper, and now they've created apps and ways to keep your children digitally hooked. So when we give them these devices, they're really craving it more and more and more, and we're creating behaviors that we're not going to want to deal with, and it's going to impact their life as they get older and they go through school.
Right.
So under 3, we want to cut out the screens. We do not want to give them screens. We want to go old school. You want to take some kind of game. You want to take a puzzle when you go visit grandma. You want to take a favorite doll. You want to go back to the day where we're not using screens to help keep the kids quiet.
Yeah, or babysit them. Honestly, a lot of moms just turn on the TV, and it's like hours can go by. But yeah, it totally makes sense to avoid doing that.
And actually, if I can share, we have neighbors upstairs, and they enlisted their little guy who was 3 at the time at the Montessori school. I live on the Upper West Side in Manhattan. And the Montessori school, that particular school, has now stopped using screens for that age group. They don't consider that a positive because they really understand how it impacts behavior in the brain.
Yes, absolutely. In fact, my kids too, I enrolled them in a Montessori school here in Jersey, and same thing there. They're very anti-tech, so there's no screens or anything really digital at the school. They encourage many other, principles and values, and have toys like just your basic wooden toys and puzzles and that sort of thing. And they're still engaged and stimulated from that.
Yes, and moms, something you may or may not be aware of, the folks in Silicon Valley, the Bill Gates and, Steve Jobs and many folks whose names are not familiar to us, their children have gone to school in Northern California without technology.
Yes, it's true.
They're not getting what your children are getting, which is this constant push towards we need a computer, they need to have a phone. And I believe Melinda Gates, when she was talking about their oldest, I think, don't quote me, but I'm pretty sure that it was 14 when their oldest child, got the first cell phone. And she said if she could do it again, 14 was too young.
Oh, wow. I guess there is a, pivotal time where you want to expose your, child or young teen to tech, but earlier is definitely not better.
Earlier in this case is definitely not better. As a matter of fact, our prefrontal cortex is not fully developed until we're 25.
Okay, wow.
So when we think of carrying these devices, sleeping with these devices, they're close to our head. There has been some research and studies that have been done for moms who have kids who are a little older, those teenage years, and even in junior high. As we all know, as women, we have those cute little pockets in our pants, right? Because they're super cute and sexy when we don't have lumps and bones.
Right.
Like who have utilitarian pockets. Well, what they found is the girls tend to carry their cell phones in their bras. And while they haven't 100% corroborated it, there has been a spike in young teenage girls getting breast cancer. Oh,
my goodness. I believe it. The radiation.
What side of the bra do you carry, right or left, the cell phone on? That tends to be the breast that's affected.
I don't think that's a coincidence at all. Wow.
I don't either. And so we wanna make sure as a mom, this is a really great opportunity. If you're participating in that behavior right now, it's not safe for you. So this is something that your children are watching you, especially girls, because we mirror and mimic same parent more than opposite sex parents.
Yep.
And so this is a great opportunity for you to check yourself and say, hey, I'm doing that. This isn't healthy for me. And I'm also teaching a habit that can be devastating. We can have a devastating outcome down the road. So again, you can make a quick change today.
Yes, absolutely. So back to just the question, so we stay on track. What were the age groups for 3 and above? Ideal screen time, if you were to give it a number.
Well, if I were to give it a number, and again, they've done a lot of research on this, I don't really see any reason why 3 to 5 needs to be on a screen more than an hour a day.
Okay,
maximum.
Makes sense.
What does a 3 to 5-year-old need to do on a screen?
Yeah. Well, you know what? I can speak to my circumstance with my 2-year-old twins. So we don't have tablets for them. We have tablets for the home, and the things that they use the screens for is they do like watching like nursery rhymes. They're like just addicted to this YouTube channel called Little Baby Bum. And so there's all sorts of nursery rhymes, like, from, your Baba Black Sheep to Jack and Jill to like the ABC song. And honestly, in that regard, it's helped them a lot. The teachers have told us that they're ahead of their peers in class. Not that it matters because they're in like a toddler class, but it was nice to hear because they could recognize letters, numbers, and knew all the lyrics to the songs like before they even got to school. And so I feel like, I'm always singing and, kind of rattling off like the ABCs and stuff just to ingrain it in them all day long, like when I'm doing a diaper change or just walking outside to the park. But I think the screen time that they got watching those channels definitely helped because they just recognize those tunes and start singing them to themselves. And then the second thing that they use it for is just a few games. So there's toddler games that I downloaded, and they have things like matching. So, if you have let's say a shape that's like a circle, and then there's like a picture of a pizza, and then they have a square and a window. You have to match the, pizza to the circle and then the window to the square, like things like that. So there's matching, there's coloring, and big and little. So knowing, like this certain thing goes to the big mama bear, this goes to the little bear. So like games like that they've kind of gotten the hang of, and even just swiping in general. But yeah, I mean, I definitely do limit it to less than an hour a day because this is something that, when I'm doing something really quick in the kitchen, loading the dishwasher or whatever, I'll give them their little tablets to play with while I'm doing that. But yeah, I think I can't imagine it being for more than an hour because they get bored too. It's like 10 or 15 minutes at a time. And then it's like, okay, out of your chairs, done.
Yeah, and I think you're pointing out something that's really positive. This is where technology is a benefit.
Yeah.
When children get educated in this way, and shapes and colors and ABCs and nursery rhymes, this is a positive way to use technology, and
right.
that's good. So the technology is not all evil. There's a lot of amazing things that we do with it.
Yes, absolutely. Any other, I would say, like benefits or disadvantages that we didn't cover?
Well, so learning a language when
that's a good one.
Becomes really beneficial, and especially for little ones. And again, because their brains are so malleable and they're able to absorb, and many kids now, we live in this multicultural world, and so there are numerous languages in the home, and I think that's a great usage of technology.
Yes.
To really be able to both visually see and to hear. So that's a positive. So this is where we really want to use it and how we want to use it for kids. Right.
You have to be very kind of intentional about how you're using it.
Yes.
Okay, great. One thing that I feel I've noticed, and something that I commiserate with other moms, is that a lot of children, and really young, are being diagnosed with behavioral disorders, anxiety disorders, ADHD. Do you think that screens are kind of playing a part in that, and it's somehow correlated?
The American Psychological Association did a study on the increase in anxiety, the increase in isolation, sleep deprivation, and there was a tremendous spike that happened from 2010 onward. ADHD and ADD, there has been a tremendous double-digit spike as well, a very high double-digit spike as far as the medications for these, I'll really call them behaviors, and it's mostly in younger children and adolescents.
Right.
So when we look at that, and we really look at the components of ADHD and ADD, I'll share with you when I was using the Google Calendar as opposed to what everyone made fun of, that I was carrying the old-fashioned date books, and I decided years ago I would do everything electronically and everything digitally. And after about a year of that, my brain was literally melting down. I was having so much trouble with focus, with concentration, and that's always something, even as a child, I had great concentration and I was super laser focused. And suddenly it was disappearing. And I thought, what is different in my life? What is happening? And I thought, oh my gosh, I bet it is having you open the calendar and then you toggle off of that and you look at the email and then you go back because it's not that date and you go back and forth. And what it is we are exhausting our brain.
Oh.
And so children, by having multiple screens open and playing the game and answering a text and doing a Snapchat and doing all of these different pieces of technology simultaneously, it is wearing our brain out. And we're going to see a huge increase and spike in brain burnout and mental exhaustion, which is really going to translate to nervous breakdown.
My goodness. Wow. But, I mean, I believe it. So how do we rectify this?
So here's the plus, Mom. It's not all doomsday. We've got some great tips for you that you can look at right now. So first and foremost, let's keep all screens out of bedrooms. So It doesn't matter what the age, all screens need to come out. We once again know from children who are allowed to have any sort of screen in their bedroom, if they wake up in the middle of the night, if they get up to go to the bathroom on their own, we know that they're checking their screen.
Yeah.
What that does is, imagine if you as an adult got up at 2 in the morning to go to the bathroom and you went and had 2 cups of coffee and then you tried to go back to sleep. You can't do it.
Yeah.
Because the blue light suppresses our melatonin.
Right.
Melatonin, we get more and more of that that's created by the brain, which is why you start to see your children, they start to yawn and they're tired and it's time to go to bed. And then a big mistake that happens is parents will then say, oh, we can do a story on the iPad, or we can play one game on the iPad or the laptop before we go to sleep, and then they wonder why their kids are wired.
Yes.
Just sent into their brain that it's daytime.
Yes.
By suppressing the melatonin, the brain is going, I'm really tired, but I'm confused, because now it's like I need to get up and I need to be focused, but I'm really tired, and so that's how we have restless sleep. So let's take devices out of the bedroom.
Okay.
That's the first thing that we can, and we can all do that, and we should all do that for adults as well. And so now let's look at creating a space within your home that's common family space, that we say that this area is going to be a tech-free zone.
Okay.
I would make a suggestion that this would be the dining room or kitchen, wherever you have your meal.
Yeah, okay.
The reason is, and you're going to have to do this as a mom and a dad too, we're going to have to do this with our children. If we don't, remember, they're mirroring and mimicking. And the days of do as I say, not as I do, that didn't even work when I was a kid.
Yeah,
definitely.
that's true.
Kids are so much smarter now. That definitely doesn't work.
Yeah, we can't be hypocrites about this.
Right. We've got to be willing to take our devices out of the dining room, the kitchen as well.
Okay.
And the reason that I'm so adamant and always love to pick the dining room or the kitchen is there's something called the iPhone effect.
Okay.
And what that is that we know from research that any time there is a device on the table, what happens is we don't have conversations that are as deep, which doesn't let us get to the level of trust. And you need your children to trust you when they tell you that they maybe hit someone in school, or they got in trouble, or they didn't do so well on a test, or someone wasn't nice to them. We need a deep, safe place of trust for them to come to us, and we don't get to those deeper levels when we have devices on the table. We know this for a fact. And we also know that when they are there, the brain has now been trained to think of that device. Okay. And so now we're thinking, oh, I want to play my favorite game. Oh my gosh, I don't have enough farm animals.
Right.
Or whatever it is that they're doing. And that's all they're thinking about. So you, as a parent, may think you're connecting with your child. You're really not. There's no connection that's taking place as long as there are devices on the table.
That makes total sense. I think that, this can be applied to adults as well. I mean, when I have my phone next to me, I'm constantly checking emails, and even if it's something that's not immediate, we're just so conditioned to pick up when the phone pings, so yeah, that's definitely a habit we have to address and deal with.
And then our third tip is to really watch what types of phones that we're giving our children.
Okay.
Are we giving them the smartphones, or are we saying that we're going to be brave and we're going to be the different parent and we're going to give you a flip phone?
Right.
In fact, we believe, because I have a lot of parents, I work with a lot of families, and the biggest concern that I hear from moms and dads over and over again is they're afraid that there's going to be another Sandy Hook, another Columbine, there's another one of those. And it's true. We don't, and I understand that. I'm actually from the area of Columbine. So
okay.
I understand that fear. I was not in school when this began. So I understand this is a very real concern of a parent, that you would want your child to be able to call 911, and we want to give as many children the opportunity to dial for help. So
right.
This we understand. Do we need, though, and this is where the challenge is, and really challenge yourself as a parent, do your children need to have the smartphone?
That's such an interesting question to ask. And yeah, if we truly are using it for, call us when you have an emergency, sweetie, then they don't need to be playing Candy Crush, on their smartphone. So it's a flip phone would suffice. This makes me think of a funny story. I used to always have kind of older models of phones. Post-college, my first cell phone I got was a brick. It was, freshman year of college. And I literally only used it if I needed to call a friend in a dorm, or my parents if I happened to be outside away from my landline. But I remember, even post-college, I was happy with, the very basic phones. And I had this friend who saw, I don't remember what it was at that time, maybe a Nokia or something. And he was like, you need to get a smarter phone. But yeah, I think it serves our purpose though. Especially for kids, they don't need smarter phones. They should be, happy with the dial-out feature. That's all that they really need it for. And then, as parents, we can, kind of, oversee how much time they get on a phone or a tablet, because they only get it when we give it to them.
Exactly. We have in our home, we have a phone drawer.
Mm-hmm.
And it's in the kitchen. It's an electronic store, because we charge the iPad there, we charge the phones there. And everything, even when we have guests come to dinner, we ask everyone to put their phones in the phone drawer.
Oh, wow.
To silence it and to place it in the phone drawer. Because if someone's coming over and we're having a dinner party and they're going to spend their time on their phone, then really they don't want to spend time with us and the rest of the people there. There's really no point.
I love that idea. That's great. Yeah, I think that, you're just sharing tips that are applicable to kids and parents. I'm going to definitely implement that.
If the kids come over, Kanika, for a sleepover, we don't want them taking inappropriate photos, and we know that sometimes, one dares one, and this happens even at young ages.
Oh, yeah.
And 9, where there's a dare, or do this, and we take a photo, and we can't get those back. So
right.
A great opportunity to really test your parenting skills is to ask all the kids, just say, you know what, this is a time for a slumber party and popcorn and movies and whatever it is that they're going to be doing. And you say, all the phones go here until everybody leaves tomorrow. We're going to, after pancake breakfast or something like that.
Yes. Yeah, that's great. And it just allows all of us to be present. I think, that's something that's so lacking in this day and age. And we have to remind ourselves, how to just, be present in the moment.
Yes, it is something that has dissipated from our society and from our individual lives. So when we really challenge ourselves in the way that you did on that great day to, go outside and play and have fun, there were not a lot of other parents who were challenging themselves to really take those moments to connect with their children, because as everyone knows, whatever stage in life you're at, we're all going to blink and turn around and it's over.
Yes, absolutely. Oh my gosh, I'm so scared for that already.
Well, and yet you're going to have these memories. You're going to look back and realize that you didn't have your children alone in their rooms, isolated. They were out with you, and those moments can never be replaced.
Yes.
And that's really what it's all about. That's what the journey of parenting is all about. We want to be able to embrace technology, and simultaneously we want to remember the big reason that we're here, and it's not technology.
Yes, no, that's absolutely true. I think this kind of bleeds into my philosophy of like minimalism as well. I do the same thing with toys. I don't like to accumulate too many toys. People tell me like, oh, you have twins, you probably have double of everything, but I don't. I'm like, no, they have to share. And I think that, like you said, it's way more impactful for them to remember an experience than like a toy, and then I think of like the whole Velveteen Rabbit syndrome. Toys only last so, their intrigue only lasts so long. So yeah, it's all about those experiences, and a screen or any form of technology or toy for that matter can't replace that. I wanted to go into our Mom Sense moment. So can you share a story or an anecdote of when, your own mom had a mom sense moment where she just trusted her intuition, almost with a blind faith, and decided to go that route rather than listening to, her peers or her own mom or in-laws or whatever? Was there a moment that you can share like that?
I will share with you that my mother always has and still does really marches to her own music. And I think what has allowed me to forge and be on the path that I'm on and take the circuitous route to get there was that she was 100% always in a place of trusting herself. And what I can say, moms, is there's not enough value these days, and there's not enough kudos and accolades in understanding how to trust your gut. You know how to do this instinctively. You've carried that little bundle with you for those 9 months, and you are so in tune to that other human being. You've got this.
Right.
And we need to take a moment to sit quietly, which my mom would often do, sit very quietly and be very still, and then say, this is the way it's going to be. This is the decision. And we didn't always like it. She was always spot on. And so, moms, you got this. You really do have an instinct knowing how to do it. Take the moment, disconnect from technology, sit for a moment, get in a space of calm within yourself, think about it, trust your gut, and go. And you're gonna have it. You're gonna have it all covered.
I love that advice. That's incredible.
Let's not forget our quote of the day.
So do you have a quote that you can share with us about like digital detox and just one nugget that we can remember whenever we want to just remind ourselves?
Sure. So I have a quote from my book, Consciously Connecting, and that is, when you take time to disconnect, the real connection begins.
Wow. That's so true. That was a great segue. Tell us about your book, Consciously Connecting.
Sure. So Consciously Connecting, a simple process to reconnect in a disconnected world, takes you on a journey where I've divided the book into the 12 months of the year. Each month has a theme, and within that theme, there are 4 weekly exercises. Now, you're not going to sit down and write a bucket list, because this is about reconnecting to yourself and others at a very deep level. June, for example, June is all about reconnecting and tapping into your childhood passions, and so we play with spontaneity, and we really look at following our impulses, because that's what so much of childhood is about that we forget as adults. So again, each month has a theme, and then each week you reconnect in a different way with yourself and others.
It's now time for Mom Haul, when we share products we love.
And now on to our mom haul. Is there any product you think that would be beneficial to moms?
Well, I think moms, if you're feeling that disconnect and you're having trouble, again, helping the little ones, and you've got to be strong for yourself first. So picking up a copy of my book, Consciously Connecting, is a great way for you to take some time and reconnect to yourself, which will help you really focus on being not only the best mom, being the best person in every avenue of your life that you can be. You can pick that up on Amazon.com. You can pick it up Barnes & Noble. You can pick it up on my website. And I think the second thing that would be great for a mom haul is I do work with families on a very specific program learning about your family and how you can have something very specific for you and what will work with your family. And we look at all those issues of behavior and changing those behaviors and getting your children back on track if there's been a little too much tech in the household. And we do it parents as well as the children. We join in, and it's a plan for the whole family. So that's really great to do too if you think that your family would like a blueprint for that. And you can reach out to me online, and we can have a conversation and see if that's the right program for you.
Oh, that's wonderful. Thank you. I'm so glad that you're sharing that with our listeners. Any last thoughts?
My last thought is I want to leave all you moms with the positivity of really, again, knowing that you got this thing. You're some of the first generations who are raising children with full-blown technology, and just know every day is not going to be perfect, and it is okay. We as women need to continue to support each other, realizing that we don't have to be perfect. There are going to be days that we need to bring our A game, and it's not going to happen, and it is completely okay.
Yes.
Kanika and I support you. She's a huge supporter in this amazing podcast and the work that she's bringing to you. So a huge thank you to you, Kanika, for what you are, the tools and the techniques you're sharing with moms. And any mom that's having, again, if you're feeling disconnected in any way, please reach out and say hi. Take me up on my offer. Let's have a 20-minute conversation, and any way that I can help you to plug in and reconnect in areas that you feel disconnected. As a woman, I am supporting you. I am here for you, and I look forward to hearing from you.
Oh, I love it. Thank you so much, Holland. I really appreciate it. You were a joy. And I know there's a lot of takeaways with this podcast, and I'm looking forward to even more with you. Well, that concludes today's episode. We hope we inspired you to do some digital detox of your own. I know I'm definitely going to create a phone drawer. Well, if you want to learn more about our guest, Holland Haiis, check out her website. It's HollandHaiis.com. And check out our website. It's That's Total Mom Sense, no apostrophe.com. And send us an email if you have any ideas for shows or potential guests at thatstotalmomsense@gmail.com. Bye, guys.
That's Total Mom Sense.